going to give Facebook Live just another second to capture all those that want to hear a what I would call quasi-genius Chris talk about Facebook Messenger bots, who I have been dripped on by your bots, and they're actually really well written. Do you write your own, by the way, just out of curiosity? Yeah, they're actually written really well. I mean, it's like, you know, as a marketer myself, I appreciate a good pitch, and you know, and so, you know, it's been interesting. So we're going to be talking to him, picking his brain about what's working, what isn't. If you have questions about messenger bots and you know, lead gen and how bots interrelate and how they're changing the game, honestly, go ahead and you know, just type in the question section or the chat section, and we will try to get to you as soon as possible. And I probably think the Facebook Live is probably as live as it's going to get. So we'll go ahead and get started. So Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into this? What's your business? All the good stuff.
Yeah, so I was in WordPress for a little over a decade. So I built websites for a good 15 years or so, and I picked up a real estate client, and their website happened to be WordPress, and they started asking about how do we generate leads. So I was like, cool, I can figure that out. And I started talking more about Facebook ads because I was in a course at that moment, and I was like, great, I can experiment with your money. So as I started to generate leads, traditional way, using Facebook lead ads and just, you know, capturing through their website, I figured out they suck at the follow-up part of it. And there was a big disconnect, you know what I mean? So as I saw that, I actually ordered a pizza from Domino's through Facebook and kind of caught on to what that was, you know, through Messenger. And it just kind of piqued my curiosity, and I ran with it. You know, I didn't see anybody else really doing it in the space, so I was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to dominate the real estate space. So that's kind of where I went, you know?
So walk me through that, because I think it's going to relate to lead gen on Facebook Messenger and everything later. Like, how do you order a pizza with Facebook Messenger? Like, how does it work?
You just send them a message.
So you say, I want a pizza. They respond back, what kind? And with a list?
Well, whenever you send a message, they have a welcome message. So they ask, what do you want? You know what I mean? Do you want a job, or do you want to order a pizza? Like, they have a couple options out of the gate. And then once you select that option that I would like to order a pizza, then it asks, where are you at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just progresses down the line there.
And like, as far as toppings and stuff, is it hard? And there's a reason this relates. I'm not like purposely going sideways on it, but so you get to the point where you're telling them the pizza, how do you pick out what toppings? Do they have options, or do you check boxes?
Yeah, originally it was, you know, one for pepperoni. You know, it had like numbers because there wasn't an easy way to multiple select. Now they kind of go back and forth between the browser. So they open up the browser experience, pre-selected with what you started off. Cool, I'm in this area. Here's what I want. And now it's like, pick your toppings. So it kind of picks up there now.
Yeah, so it starts the conversation easily because it's just a Facebook message. It collects the data that it can effortlessly, and then it puts it into the online form, which is where they probably want to end. I mean, that's where I would want to end up, make sure my order's right and everything.
Yeah.
That's really smart. How does that impact, you know, when we're looking at what Domino's, that example of what led you down the path of working in the Facebook Messenger market, like, how did that impact what you do now for real estate agents? Because I think there's a lot of comparison there and just the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed there's a couple different ways you can use Messenger. You can use it proactively, or you can use it reactively. So that would be reactively. Somebody's reaching out to you, and instead of you giving me a message saying, hey, call, text, or email me, do something besides just send me a message, I can give you options. You know what I mean? So that's kind of one route at it. And like, I developed something called the first responder for that. Basically, it pops up and says, hey, how can we help you buy a home, sell a home, or something else? So it's basically that tree branch, you know? How can I help you? So that's the way.
But when you generate a lead on Facebook, they're not your friends. So how do you message them?
Well, they have to engage with you first. So the way we engage with them is we use a home for bait, right? So
Like a specific home?
yeah, a specific home and a price point that, it's like you're fishing, right? It's like, what kind of people do you want? Well, what's intriguing them is they're opting in to get the price, the location, and the rest of the details. You know what I mean?
Okay. My bandwidth was not, it was going a little slow, so I switched to phone. I wasn't ordering pizza while I was talking to you, Chris. Don't worry.
Wow.
Scheduling showings, ordering pizza. No, I just was switching to phone audio for the interview. All right. So you use a property as a carrot, like you said, to kind of engage them, and you say, message me for more details.
Yeah, pretty much that's the call to action. For price, location, and details, send us a message. Whenever you send a message,
Okay.
we're giving them that property. We give them 4 or 5 photos. Let them check it out. They can dig deeper. They can click view more details, dig into, what is the property taxes? What's all the boring details that I must know? What school district, all that stuff. And then about the time they give up and they're ready to move on, we hit them up with a follow-up question in Messenger. So
Yeah. So do as far as cost per lead, like when you're running ads for Facebook Messenger, have you seen a difference between forced registration on a website starting on Facebook versus Facebook Messenger? Is there any difference, do you feel like?
yeah, there's a huge difference. So for the simple fact that not a lot of people are using the Messenger objective, it's cheaper. The most expensive I've seen across the US and Canada has been $2 a message. That's to a cold audience. Whenever you put it back to a warm audience, people that's already registered for your website or people that know of you, that's watched some of your video content or something like that, most of them come out to 50 to 75 cents a conversation.
Really?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. $2 on a cold audience?
Yeah. That's the most
It
expensive.
must be so it must be like you're really putting a really popular property out, right? I mean, there's some thought there. It's not just any house, or.
Well, I mean, you don't want to put the prettiest and you don't want to put the ugliest. You want to put the most popularist. You know what I mean? You want to put that the majority can afford and go for. But the reason the price is so low is because there's no competition for it. Like in Facebook, you're paying for competition. You're paying all these other realtors, they're throwing their houses out here too, but their objective's different. Their objective's for a click or a landing page view or a video view. Yours is for Messenger, so it's cheaper because there may be 2 guys in town doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go where nobody else is, right? And that's the idea with marketing. Okay, so you're running an ad for an ad type that nobody else really is doing because they don't understand it. And then you're using a property that, has general appeal, right? People like it. And then you tell Facebook, I want to run a messenger campaign. How do you get it to sync with your product or a chatbot versus going to my personal Facebook account or, whoever's doing it? Yeah. So
we're using a keyword to fire off that sequence. So on the back end, it runs on top of ManyChat, and each listing has its own flow. So the keyword is launched in that flow. So whenever you're building out the ad for the send message, you're saying this one, give them that listing. That's how it's triggering.
Interesting. Now, is that on Facebook or is that on because you run a business doing this. So is this on the side of your business or is this on the side of Facebook?
So my business is actually selling the template, the plug and play template, and telling you how to use it. This is actually on Facebook Ads Manager side when you're building it out.
Oh, okay. So it's not like some separate tech. It's actually like, this is how you use the Facebook portal to generate business.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
The automation to Facebook ads.
Gotcha. All right. Now this is actually, guys, if you're watching this right now, he just told you how to get $2 Facebook leads. That's phenomenal. I mean, it really is. It's actually pretty incredible. So you tell Facebook, if I get this kind of message, trigger this sequence, basically. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but that's more or less. Okay.
It's basically,
now,
if you don't tell it something, it will trigger your welcome message. So like that Domino's message we were talking about, how can we help you?
Yeah.
It'll trigger that.
Okay. And so that would be, is that considered proactive or reactive? That example that you just gave us.
The listing, that's proactive. I'm fishing. I'm trying to catch something.
Yeah, you're fishing. Okay. All right. Give me an example of how I would use reactive for Facebook Messenger to generate income.
So reactive is somebody that is already reaching out to you. They can send you a message through your Facebook Messenger, like your business page, or you can embed it on your website as a live chat. So
all right. So it
runs the same conversation.
Okay. So I have Facebook Messenger on my website right now. And right now, when I go to it, I don't think there's any, it's just a Facebook Messenger icon, which is great, right? Because I get their Facebook profile and my business can engage them. But I'm actually loading it right now while I'm talking to you just so I can look at it and see what it says. Because I don't think it doesn't indicate that they're going to get much out of my Facebook Messenger accounts. I'm just, man, my internet. What area are you in right now, Chris?
I'm in Georgia, Woodstock, Georgia.
Georgia? Yeah. I think there's a Hurricane Barry coming. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about a different one.
I saw that.
I'm such a dork.
Good. Yeah.
All right. So it says, do you have any questions? Chat us anytime.
Okay.
That's what my opening message says. So then I click on it and it says, Barry Jenkins typically replies instantly. And then that's it. That's all I got.
So is that set up straight from Facebook, or are you running it through another platform like ManyChat?
It's just Facebook. Yeah, it's just Facebook.
Okay. So when you run it through another platform like ManyChat, everybody that comes through there becomes a subscriber. So then you can create that welcome message.
Wow. Like, I don't know if everybody understands what a big deal this is. How do you, so, the people that are watching right now, like, how do you get the message across to agents right now that getting them $2 conversations with people that are interested in real estate via Facebook, can you do like a mass Facebook message with ManyChat or any of those other services?
You can broadcast.
What?
Yeah, it's basically like the way you automate email, and you can tag and then broadcast based on what they pick and choose. You can do the same thing with this. It's just through Messenger. I don't necessarily recommend it because it's meant to start a one-on-one conversation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, like, my intention is to start that conversation. If we don't start that conversation, back to the retarget bucket, try again. But after you look at a few homes, there's no denying you're looking for homes. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, couldn't you send a mass text and make it look like, a mass Facebook message and say like, hey, I know you were looking, and if there's a general name for your area, like my area has 5 cities, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, all these different cities. I could say, I know you were looking in Hampton Roads. That's what we call it. Did you ever find that house you were looking for? So I could still, would that work?
Yeah. So yes and no. Like ManyChat has it has a 24+1 rule. Basically what that means is you have 24 hours plus 1 to try to sell something. Otherwise, you have to ask them and get them to re-engage with you. So it's like, are you still looking for a home? Yes. And then you can ask that. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be a direct pitch, I guess.
Sure. And do you have, like, your so do you encourage people that want to use bots that are looking to get consulting through you? Do you encourage them to use ManyChat?
Yeah, everything I build's on ManyChat, and it's plug and play. Like I went all in with ManyChat because it's the biggest and the baddest one right now. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'll play with the smaller ones.
Yeah, I have not played with, well, let me rephrase that. I did have a Facebook Messenger bot created by someone that you know, and it wasn't very good. But I wasn't running ads to it, and it really was it was almost too structured. Like it was like it didn't have a purpose as far as like, this is the scenario for this conversation. It was more like, how can I help you? And it just gave like 3 options, and it just didn't, I don't know, it was so wooden. Does that make sense? Like it didn't connect with the consumer, I guess, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the consumer experience. So, I mean, there's really
And so,
2 experiences there, is I'm fishing for them or they're already coming at you. You know what I mean?
I think probably most of the people that are listening right now or watching are probably most interested in the fact that you have said, and if you're just jumping on now, Chris is saying that basically with the right type of ad, because there aren't a lot of people that are running ads to Facebook Messenger as the goal, the cost per lead is significantly cheaper than trying to run ads for clicks. And it's basically the conversation, it is the starting point. And so instead of it being an online form submission and we're getting their info and then reaching out, basically the lead coming to us is the conversation. And that's like $2. An expensive market is $2 a pop. So that's really, really interesting. And you can create with ManyChat, or you can advise our agents that are watching right now how to create different conversations for different ad types, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, so I've only really went for the one thing, right? Like, if you go for the one thing, go all in on it. So the one thing is the house, the conversations around the house. That's what you're selling.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of where I put all my eggs. And that's where we've spent all our time figuring out what that looks like. But, you know, the power is that instant one click, you're in a conversation. You know, there is no chasing your pocket. They're going to come back 5 times a day. It's a matter of, what do you say now? You know?
Right. So the right now, what's really working for the bot experience from your perspective is the home buyer looking at the home that you ran an ad on, more or less.
You got it.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see, you know, as you start to navigate through looking at people that own their home, right, and that are looking at researching it, like selling it or refinancing it, you know, all those different complexities and trying to navigate through it. That would be very interesting. Have you played with that at all, or is that?
So yes and no. I mean, all those details kind of come out in that conversation. You know what I mean? It's like, you need to sell your house before you can get this house. Like, why are you looking at this house?
Right. Most buyers are sellers also. Yeah. Nobody wants to sell their house. They have to. Everybody wants to buy a house. That's what they're excited about. So no, that makes perfect sense. I know personally, so I know that I'm excited about this topic and it's interesting. I'm excited about the possibilities, but I'm equally overwhelmed in the thought of trying to implement it. So what would you tell somebody, and feel free, if you want to make a shameless plug, you can do that. I know that's not the point of this. The point is to give, but I'm giving you permission to do so. But like, okay, he said ManyChat. I just went to their website, and you mind if I share the screen? Let's share the screen.
Go for it.
So I'm on ManyChat's website and instantly overwhelmed. So I've got the free unlimited broadcast, 10 tags. You've got the pro. I always go for the pro. They suck me in. And so then I look at it and should I sign in with Facebook?
Yeah.
I agree. I'm trusting Chris.
Yeah.
So I'm signing into ManyChat. They're going to receive my personal information.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them manage my life.
I was going to ask you what page.
And now I'm in.
What's going to ask?
Oh man, I've got a bunch of those.
Yeah. And they get nosy here.
Well, we don't have to go. Yeah, we're not going to go through the whole process, but like, I can imagine ManyChat just got a bunch of hits off of this webinar already. They're like, there's probably a lot of people that are like, whoa, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
But you go in and it's really like, it's almost like MailChimp for Facebook Messenger, right? You got to set it all up.
Yes.
Yeah. So I already know everybody's like going manychat.com, like, oh gosh. So like, how do we make it easy? I don't want to become a ManyChat expert.
Go check out bookmesolid.com. I've got the templates and I'll give you the direction how to use it.
So I go to bookmesolid.com, and so on that website, you say it's a new way to sell homes, stop chasing leads.
So if you
Okay.
scroll to the bottom of that, you can do request a demo and you can see it in action.
Okay. And then your templates, is there an easy way to upload them?
Yeah, we do that for you.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like here's the Google Doc. It's more like a service in a way.
Oh yeah, we'll install it for you, and then it comes with a master class. So that master class walks you through a 3-step process of plugging your house in and building a Facebook ad. If you don't want to do that, then chat and we'll figure out something. We'll bridge the gap for you. But I've created it so you can get somebody over here in the office to do it for you. If they can follow directions, they can have the same results. You know what I mean?
Sure. That's really interesting.
I think a big takeaway that a lot of people may not know about, everybody needs to get the Page app. So it's this one with a little orange flag. If you don't have that, you want to get that because you don't know what's going on your Facebook page if you don't have that. You know what I mean? So as we sit here, I see messages going through now. You know what I mean? As people are
right.
But you wouldn't know about it if you didn't have that app. So you see it in real time.
Now, yeah, no, absolutely. And then do you recommend taking over the conversation, or do you recommend letting the bot finish the conversation and showing them the homes?
I'll let them engage until they're done with it, and then you can hop in when you want. You don't have to go running to it. This is intended to buy you some time because they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're there.
Sure.
So you just hit them the next morning. If they come in the middle of the night, hit them the next morning. If they come in during the day and you're busy, just hit them when you can.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But we hit them with follow up, and then you step in and humanize it. You say, hey, I'm a real person. You can send them a voicemail, you can send them a selfie video, or you can just text them. But like I recommend adding like a dash berry at the end of it, so it's more like human, like I signed off on it, you know?
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Kind of like the scent from my iPhone, you know, how that kind of, everybody latched onto that and used it in automation.
Yeah, I know. I've been using that for a while. It still works actually. So let's see. I see some comments in the Facebook group. Let me just, let's see. I need a flow chart on how to set this all up, or I need to hire it done. So one person says he needs a flow chart on how to set it up. I guess that would be your template, more or less.
Yeah.
So this person says that the Facebook Messenger leads can be cheaper, but not always. In testing, we found lead gen ads with a thank you page directing them to ManyChat is still best. You know, and obviously all of this is market specific. But do you have an opinion about that? I know you're probably helping agents in all different markets. Have you found in some markets it works a little better to do the ManyChat at the end, or?
Well, I mean, I found in all markets it's better to stay within the platform of Facebook. They're rewarding you. That's why it's so cheap, because you're still on their platform. Whenever you go for a landing page, you're going away, so they're going to charge you more. Even though, I mean, you can embed a little thing that says get the info here delivered to your messenger on that page. That's kind of pointless because you're filming the messenger now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You're basically, you know, you're playing the game that Facebook wants you to play, and so they're rewarding you by not charging you an arm and a leg for the looks like we've got a couple more comments here. Let me just pull them all up here. funny how live videos do sometimes, because it says we've got 10 comments, 12 comments, but I can only see 4 of them.
Yeah, mine just shows 4. It's weird.
Yeah, it's okay. So when talking to agents about ManyChat and Facebook Messenger, how much money should they throw at their Facebook ads? So let's assume that, they're not rich, but they're also not poor, right? They're just, your average agent just trying to add a new dimension to their business. Is there a certain amount of money they should spend per Facebook ad going to Messenger? Any insight there that they should be doing?
Well, I mean, if it's working, I recommend continue, but on a budget level, I used to recommend $100 a home, but now, you can get a ton for $100. Like I've had one guy get them as low as 9 cents, right? He was in Pennsylvania somewhere. So it's like he got 500 over a 3-day period. So, and that was a home that was 9 days old, you know what I mean? But it was to a new audience.
Right.
So
right.
Most people want to cut it off after a while. I encourage you not to. Like don't
So,
because your phone buzzes more than your phone's ever buzzed before. That's a good sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I think the one thing that, you get them to message, they get the photos, then you say, hey, I'm a real person, like you said. And then the idea is to segue into tomorrow and next week. Like what kind of value can you bring into their journey without being slimy, right? Like, because I don't know anybody that wakes up in the morning and says, yeah, I really got to find that house. Right. Let me go check my Facebook newsfeed to see if any new ones are there. So they didn't plan on having the discussion right now, but almost the Facebook Messenger forces them to have the discussion in a way to get the information they want. Have you found any good transitions? So they get what they want. I'm a real person. What would be, and you don't have to give away your scripts here, but just generally speaking, what would be a good idea to get them to want to talk to me tomorrow, maybe via phone or via Messenger tomorrow? Like how can I keep it going?
So what I've found best is make it more about your seller, not necessarily about the person looking at the house. Tell them the story about the seller.
Interesting.
Tell them why they're selling, where they're trying to go, and why you're trying to get them there faster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're doing this marketing. We're trying to get them out of the home. Obviously, you're checking.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone interested in a home like this? Like, you don't make it all about, hey, when do you want to see it? You know what I mean? That's like a car salesman. It's
because they're going to react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the natural reaction to say, I'm just curious. But when you make it more about the seller and kind of tell that little story of where they're going and why they're going and how they love this house, what do you like about this house? You know what I mean? What intrigued you? Why are you here?
Well, what I would do when I have a listing and I'm running ads, the automation vibe that I would use for those watching, and to dovetail what you're saying, is I say, I'm so sorry, my seller has asked me to get feedback, good, bad, or ugly. Like, did anything stand out about the home? And then they just tell me I didn't like or I did like, and then we say, okay, great, I'm going to let them know. And you know what? While I've got you, are you looking for yourself or for a friend, right? And most times they say for themselves, and then we just go into our spiel, right? But it's a very aggressive way of starting the conversation. And I know for me, I don't want to talk to salespeople, and neither do, I don't know many people that do, and so it has a customer service vibe to it. So that's good.
It's definitely.
Well, I don't know how
when you're talking about the home and the person selling the home.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely with you on that. Well, I don't know how long we're supposed to go for, and I don't want to. Do you have anything that we haven't discussed about messenger bots that you wanted to touch on for the LCA community? Which, by the way, thank you for doing this. It's not like we're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. You just want to help. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So what I would recommend is that you dig deeper into it before everybody else has it, because right now is kind of the opportunity. So right now, only about 1% of businesses in general are using automation, and that's going to change very shortly, because after the F8 conference back in April, Facebook said, hey, we're going all in on Messenger. That's why they're taking WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger and combining them into one app. So guess what? We'll be having Messenger for those other ones too. You know what I mean? Because before it wasn't really flow between Instagram back into Messenger. Now it will be eventually, pretty soon, I hope.
Yeah, because Instagram direct messaging is horrible. I hate it.
It is.
It's like the abyss. People message me like, I messaged you on Instagram. I'm like, okay. Yeah, anyway.
You can actually, right now you can see your Instagram messages in your inbox, in your page app inbox, if you've got them tied together. So you can
say that again.
So if that Pages app we were talking about, if you have your Instagram account tied to your business page, you can see your Instagram inbox in there too.
I'm pulling it up right now. See if I got that jank organized here. All right, so I'm on my page, and oh yeah, I do have it.
So like up at the top, you got comments, and then you got inbox. So you basically got the inbox for Messenger and Instagram now. They're going to bring WhatsApp in too. I don't know much about WhatsApp, except a lot of people use it, so I need to learn more.
It's more of like a world, like international thing, my understanding. It's, like when we deal with a lot of military because we have the largest Navy base in the world here. And so a lot of our people that are overseas, that's what they use to communicate back home because it uses mobile. It uses wireless instead of cellular. So just easier.
So add in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, have you used, what's Marketplace in Facebook? Because every time I put a property on there, it crushes.
It does.
The Facebook, it's incredible. But I don't think, can you tie a Marketplace post to a ManyChat conversation?
You can. Basically, whenever they reply back to you for more info, you can share a link with them to engage that conversation. You know what I mean? So you're like,
yes. So not seamless, but it works.
Yeah, it definitely works. It requires minimum effort to make it work there.
Okay. But is it effective? Like, are they okay with clicking a link and leaving Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, 100%. Like I have one guy that kind of does that for rent to own. Like he's got a financer that's kind of rent to own, and he does that. He's got 4 or 5 questions he asks. He's like, man, I've been asking these questions. I'm like, well, let's just make something you can reuse. And he does it.
Right. Okay. No, that's interesting. Well, Chris, what is your website again, in case anybody has any follow-up questions?
It is bookmesolid.com. But also, if y'all want to see this, you can send Labcoat agents page message and see kind of the responsive that pops up. You know what I mean?
Really?
It's going to pop up.
Oh, really?
About the Facebook group, the YouTube group, and the podcast. And then on the back side of that, we're tagging you. Which one are you interested in?
Well, Chris, I'm going to have some questions for you when this is over. So, and I know you and I started a conversation and I never really finished the conversation. So I'm glad that, serendipitous, it just worked out today where I was able to pick your brain because now you got me all excited about Facebook Messenger. That's good. That's good. Any final comments, anybody? I know you already said it, but I didn't want to cut you short here.
No, just dig in. Dig in before everybody.
All right. Sounds good, man. Well, thank you for sharing with the community. Let's make sure I don't have any more questions. WhatsApp is bigger in Europe and Australia. Okay. Yeah, no. I can't see all the rest of the comments, so we'll answer them later. Anyway, Chris, thanks for the love to the LCA community, man. We really appreciate it, and thanks for sharing some cool stuff with me. I'm really pumped.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. Yeah, you too, man. Thanks. All right, bye.